Hi everybody and welcome. My name is Cecilia. I'm a nutrition educator with SNAP-Ed New Jersey, and joining me today is Chef Paul, Director and Executive Chef of the Community Kitchen here at the Community FoodBank of New Jersey.
Hi everybody, nice to be here.
Thank you for coming and joining us for our Wellness Wednesday. We're going to be making some really refreshing recipes today. We're going to do a peach salsa and a fruit-infused water. So for the peach salsa, you're going to need 2 cups of peaches, 3/4 cup of cucumber, 1/4 cup of onion, some parsley, 2 tablespoons of lime juice, and a jalapeno with the seeds removed. For the fruit-infused water, you're going to need a cucumber, mint leaves, and lime. So we're gonna go ahead and get started.
Okay, so I'm doing the peach salsa, right?
Yes, you
okay.
are, our
Just
professional chef.
Just making sure.
Let us know how you're gonna be preparing it today.
Okay, well, again, as you told us the ingredients, it's always great to get fresh. The freshest vegetables you can. I know sometimes, depending on the season and what you're doing, peaches might not be in season. So canned peaches will work just as well, just as long as you get it packed in its own juice, nothing with any corn sugar or anything like that, or corn juice or anything like that, because then that'll add a lot of calories to it, a lot of sugar to it. But I would always recommend the fresh vegetables if they're in season. Also, fresh frozen works just as well for peaches as well. You can buy them fresh frozen and they work just as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just start with the recipe. I'm going to dice my onions. I'm going to dice my peaches. I'm going to dice my cucumbers. I leave the skin on the cucumbers, but depending on how you feel, you can peel the cucumber. What works well with the recipe, it's all about you and what you want to do with it. And I think that's the best part about culinary, in my opinion. You can adjust the recipe based on what your tastes are and what you like and what you don't like.
Absolutely, and I love that you brought the tip up about peaches being in season. Usually when fruits and veggies are in season, they're going to be a lot more affordable and a lot more nutritious. So right now in the summer, it's actually farmers market season. So if there are any farmers market near you, that's a great option. You're going to get some really fresh produce and you're going to be helping out the local farmers.
Yeah, I think summer is always great for fresh stuff.
Absolutely. So I'm going to start by thinly slicing my cucumber. And I also like to keep the skin on because the skin is usually where you're going to be getting a lot of the nutrients from your food. So things like potatoes, fruit. It's great to keep the skin on, but again, it is up to you. So what are some of your favorite recipes to prepare in the summer, Chef?
I happen to like summer because I love to barbecue.
Oh yeah.
I have a barbecue grill, and I just really much enjoy doing everything on the grill. And it includes, not just proteins like chicken, steak. It includes vegetables as well. I throw onions on the grill. I can throw peach halves and mark them. It has a wonderful, wonderful flavor. Other fruits, you can do watermelon.
That sounds
and
delicious.
Pineapple. So it's a very, very versatile piece of equipment because you can almost grill anything you want.
Wow, I'm gonna have to try that out.
I love grilling vegetables all year round. It's just a wonderful, refreshing flavor.
Absolutely. And just to mention, before we started, we did wash our hands and all of our produce. You always want to make sure that you're doing the best you can to prevent spreading any germs or bacteria. So even if you're using canned produce, make sure to wash the tops of your cans to keep any of that bacteria from possibly getting in your can. So this is such a great recipe because it's so hydrating, and with this heat, you really want to make sure that you're staying hydrated. Cucumbers are about 95% water, so they're going to be very refreshing and keep you hydrated. What are you most looking forward to this summer, Chef Paul?
Really, I love being with family.
Absolutely.
And of course, since I'm in the business, food and family go hand in hand. So that's my thing. I really do it all year round, but summertime is always great because you can sit outside and enjoy the summertime with the family.
Absolutely. I feel you on that.
Also, just with the peaches, I also leave the skin on the peaches as well. Everything's been washed, as Cecilia said. But again, peaches, the skins on most vegetables and fruits have a lot of nutrients in it. So if you're able to, I would recommend leaving them on. I pre-took out the seed on this to make it a little easier. I will cut one opened from the beginning just to show you how I take the seed out. So just give me 1 second.
Awesome.
And what sometimes makes it difficult is when you're using fresh fruit such as peaches or things like that, you got to make sure the stone fruits, you got to make sure that they are ripe. If they're not ripe, you're not going to get the sweetness of them, and obviously they're much harder to cut apart as well.
That is very true.
So this peach is actually nicely ripe. Okay, just to show you how to cut a peach open. Again, this is a stone fruit. It has a seed in the middle. And you want to make sure it's not too soft. This is actually very nice. So what I do is I cut it right down the center, all the way around, 360 degrees. And then if it's not too ripe, you can twist it, which is what's having a hard time with. There we go, and it pops right out. If it's too soft, you're gonna smush in your hands. So we have a seed here. So what I do here is I just take my knife, just go around it a little bit, but you can't really pull it out with your fingers. And at best, pop it right out. And there you go. Okay? And then I would cut from here.
Thank you so much for showing us that.
Absolutely. A little more peach in.
So I'm using mint for this recipe, and mint is so great to add a nice refreshing flavor to any recipe. It's also really easy to grow, so if you have any space in your garden, I would highly recommend trying to grow some mint. Growing your own produce is a really great way to make sure you always have veggies on hand.
I agree. And nowadays you can actually do fresh produce inside your house with these different grow lights and everything.
That's very true. Do you grow any produce?
Funny story is I used to, but I'm in an area where there's a lot of deer.
Oh, wow.
So the deer eat everything. So unfortunately this year was the first year I did not do it. Jalapenos. There's different types of heat for jalapenos. The heat is generally inside the seeds. It does go out into the flesh as well, but the seed is very, very, very hot, so I recommend you taking all the seeds out. And the white, which is the pith, that's also very, very hot as well. So and it's also very bitter.
Very good to know.
And you can put in, again, the heatness, you can do whatever type of heatness you want based on the type of jalapeno you get. And you can put it in as much as you want. I recommend you start with a little bit and taste it and add it as you need to for your own heatness.
You can always add, but you can't take away,
That's
so make
correct.
sure to start small when it comes to things like spicy ingredients, salt and pepper.
That is correct.
So my water is just about done. I did have the easier recipe today. Sorry about that,
That's all right.
Chef Paul, but
That's all
how
right.
is it coming along?
So far, so good. It's got 2 more things to do after the jalapeno.
It looks amazing. It looks so colorful and fresh. You always want to make sure you're getting a variety of colors in your produce, in your foods, so that we know that we're getting enough vitamins and minerals. Usually different colors are associated with different vitamins and minerals, so we know that we have a really good, well-rounded recipe here today. And like Chef Paul mentioned, all of our recipes can be so easily modified to fit your taste. If you don't really like mint, maybe you could try something like basil. I think that would make it really interesting.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Nice basil water.
Yes, absolutely. If you don't really like peaches, maybe watermelon would be good.
Absolutely, or any kind of melon.
Oh yeah.
I recommend when you have a leafy green like this, whether it's cilantro or spinach, or if you have parsley, always make sure you rinse it very, very well, because again, all these things grow out of the dirt, and they tend to have a lot of dirt on them when you buy them, unless it's a pre-rinsed product. But I do recommend rinsing it, because you will get a sandy texture in your salsa.
It's a very good tip.
Okay.
Look at those knife skills.
Years of practice. Okay, last thing is the lime. Just squeeze it in. I do it through my hand, so any seeds that may come out of the lime will fall into my hand.
Awesome. And usually a lime is going to have about 2 tablespoons of lime juice. So that's excellent for this recipe, which calls for 2 tablespoons of juice.
Okay.
If you don't have limes, you could always use lemons as well.
Okay. Just clean my area. Always work in a clean area, which looks like I'm a little messy here for the moment. Always work in a clean area.
You want to make sure you're cleaning as you go so that at the end of the recipe you can enjoy your homemade food.
Okay. I'm gonna give it a little mix. Now, when it comes to a salsa, I recommend when you make it, you let it sit for a little while so all the flavors can blend together. So I would say you can make this up to a day in advance. I wouldn't. I mean, we're gonna try it now, but again, I recommend at least a couple hours of marinating together to get the full effect of all the flavors coming together for a real nice salsa.
That's awesome. I didn't know you could make it so far.
Oh,
in
sure.
advance. Be great for barbecues or any other summer parties you might be going to.
Yeah, for things like this, you make it too far in advance. You put it more than a day, it starts to fall apart.
Right.
So you still want to keep nice, fresh, the color and all the ingredients together. It'll hold very nice for at least 24 hours.
And what would you recommend eating this with?
I love vegetables in general. Celery, carrots, sliced cucumber.
Oh.
Okay. This is a little more chunkier. I mean, a little tortilla chip would be great as well.
Absolutely.
This actually goes very well on top of fish.
Ooh.
Or on top of chicken. I mean, it's a nice refreshing, while chicken and fish may be hot, this is a nice cold dish. You put it right over the top as a topping. The contrast of flavors and the hot and cold textures are really, really incredible.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. I love fish. I would definitely give that a try. So if you want to go ahead and taste your creation, I have a fork for you.
So you can see what that looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I wouldn't worry so much about, when you do a recipe, it might say dice or chunk this. Don't worry about how it looks, if you're doing it perfectly, because you know what, you're making it for yourself and it's going to taste the same no matter how it looks. So, so don't worry about if each piece of food is not the same. It's the same size. So I wouldn't worry about that so much. I would just be very happy that you made it. And hopefully add a little salt and pepper. I'm not a salt person myself, but salt always enhances it a little bit. So I'm going to tighten it a bit, peppers. And again, you can always add more if need be. So I'll just mix that up.
It looks so colorful and so
it is
refreshing.
nice.
I'm very excited.
Okay, let's give it a taste. Make sure I get all the ingredients together.
What do you think?
Want to try?
Yes. Thank you.
Very nice. Again, the flavors are all there, but again, you need at least a couple hours
Right.
to get that, to have it blend all together. You taste that heat at the end there, a little bit of heat, which is nice too.
It is absolutely delicious. I really recommend trying this recipe out. I also have fruit-infused water.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Very nice.
That's great.
Right. And again, something like that can sit for, especially if it's in the refrigerator for a couple of days.
Absolutely.
And the more flavor you get out of the cucumbers.
Yes,
very,
definitely.
very good.
Could always add some other fruits to this too, maybe strawberries or blueberries, and I think it would be so wonderful.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Chef Paul. You did great.
Well, thank you. I'm glad I passed the test.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us today. For more recipes like this, please check out Just Say Yes to Fruits and Veggies.